Greetings Mavericks and new viewers. Tonight, direct and live from the Maverick News Network World Studios. This is Maverick News with Rick Walker.
Third time's the charm. We are now live and broadcasting on almost all the platforms. My apologies for the late start. We were set up for 7 p.m. We were broadcasting, but not going anywhere because, well, to one location. So we had to reboot, and we had to do it not once, not twice, but 3 times. And here we are. We are going to take you down some roads tonight that nobody else is going to take you down. And that's because I never know where this broadcast is likely to take us from day to day. In fact, until a couple of hours ago, I was heading off in a completely different direction until someone, a friend, sent me a video and said, "Do you remember this from a couple of years ago?" And this is a video that is making the rounds again. It is gaining traction. I checked to see what the stats are on it, and it is gaining traction again. I wouldn't say it's going viral, but it has gone viral. This thing has racked up millions and millions and millions and millions of views on various platforms, shared, pirated, reshared, used over and over again, trying to draw attention to something that a lot of people think is a very serious issue. Maybe you've seen it. I'm going to share it with you here again. It's getting traction on X, on Facebook, especially on X tonight. And see if you remember this one. Video of what appears to be a young boy, naked, escaping from Buckingham Palace. Down a bed sheet. Why are they laughing? Does anybody remember that? I'm going to go to the chat. And we've got a little bit of delay, of course, between what I broadcast and what you see there. So there's a delay in the chat. And Jubilee says, wow, if that's a response to what's being said. Norfa says no, doesn't remember it. I do. I remember this. And yeah, it was a couple of years ago when I first saw this. And Stoic Teacher says, absolutely can remember that incident. And no, you weren't too young for that. It was only a couple of years ago. Well, so here's why I'm starting the broadcast with this tonight. Because you really have to be careful what you watch. Let me show you something. This has done, well, it's been used in some less than ethical ways. Let me put it that way. It isn't actually from a couple of years ago. This thing goes all the way back to 2015. I'll bring this back up and check this video very, very closely. In order to not have their channel taken down, they said, but that didn't happen. Exclamation point. Posted 3 years ago. This channel only has 96 subscribers, but this video, which they've copied, reposted, and put their logo on the corner as a tag, 63,000 views. Of course, the suggestion here is that something terrible was happening in Buckingham Palace and a young child or a young boy must have been, I don't know, involved in, well, you see, that's how it's being posted online. By many of the people who are sharing it. They're saying it's a boy, a child, escaping from Buckingham Palace, escaping. You see, it's a mind control thing where they. Here, I'll show you this post. By choosing specific phrasing, specific words, they're putting a foregone conclusion into your mind. They're telling you what to think and how to process the visuals. This X account, Isaac's Army, this video is so damning to the royals. This guy says, a boy is seen escaping Buckingham Palace and likely falling to his death. We discussed this and more with America Shaman on Rumble for episode 4, The Occult Apocalypse Show. Link below. Except, it didn't really happen that way, and he's lying. This, don't worry, this is going somewhere. This is going all the way to Iran, okay? What that is a video from 2015. And it duped a lot of people. And they did it on purpose. The people who produced it. But it was all staged. That's why the people were laughing. This was a promotional video. I would call it a guerrilla marketing exercise in 2015 for the launch of Dethroned for E and the Royals, a program over in the UK. So the video made headlines when it was first produced and then uploaded from what seemed to be a tourist's YouTube channel while visiting Buckingham Palace during the changing of the guard, but it was all produced. So in this video, as you saw, an almost completely naked man, it was a man, not a boy, mine is a sock, was seen climbing down this bed sheet on the side of the palace from what appears to be the palace from a window. And I'll tell you, they posted it. They did not offer initially an explanation, and mainstream media outlets, many of them, picked up on it and started to phone Buckingham Palace. They ran this stuff on television. They got all kinds of publicity from it, the people who produced it, and they left a lot of mainstream news outlets even, not to mention the independents out there with egg on their faces, because they all got duped. So how do I know this? Because the people who produced it claimed responsibility for it ultimately. Here's a post from E! News. Company related to the production company that produced The Royals. Same company. And of course it's an exclusive because their own company produced the video. So then they not only produced this fabricated video, they also got the exclusive telling everybody what the truth was after they duped everybody and got people to share it online. And at what cost? It cost the royal family some credibility and damaged their reputation to a great degree, because a lot of people saw it. You've seen the result where they're posting suggestive commentary with it to make you think that it was a young boy. Why would they do that? Because, of course, it ties into the whole, save the children, child molestation, royal family, and I could go on and on about the conspiracy theories or whatever, however you want to call it, however you want to frame it. It fed into that whole narrative, but it was never true. And here's this is, as I say, this is the article where they get the exclusive story, but it's their own company. This is the way these big media companies operate. It's if you produce a movie and then you Then what they do is then they send the stars out on the talk show circuit to the TV networks, which they also have a share in. And it's a star system. It's a system. It's a media ecosystem. It's the same thing with this, except this was a guerrilla marketing tactic that honestly went, I think, too far and really was much more successful than they intended it to be. But that's also largely because people are using it, repurposing the video with commentary, captions, posts online with words that were not accurate, and they were using it to screw with people's minds. It was a great big, excuse my language, a giant mind fuck. Now, that was in 2015, and it has been recycled multiple times. I wasn't really aware of it until about 2 years ago. And now tonight it's happening again. Well, why would they do that? Well, I'll tell you, a lot of people in the United States in particular are still hung up and still living in 1776. And they still have it in their heads that the UK and the king is their enemy or something. No, like literally, you see the Democrats out there or the people on the left. No king's protests. Well, I'll tell you, you know who really hates kings? The people on the right. Everybody in America hates the king. They still want to go to war. I hear the rhetoric. I know. I listen. 1776. Thanks, Alex Jones. Okay, whatever. Whatever, man. The South will rise again. They love to relive the glory days, don't they? Well, that's part of what's fueling all of this, of course. So it's pretty easy to get people riled up. Oh, the royals. And yet they're infatuated with the royal family in America. Just ask Geraldo Rivera. Nobody scored more points and built ratings more effectively with the royal family and royal content than Geraldo Rivera. Oh, but maybe that's going back too far. Well, this goes back to 2015, still making the rounds. Why is it coming back today? Well, I'll tell you why I think it's coming back. It's because this war in Iran is way worse than they want you to realize. It's costing American taxpayers massive amounts of money. I believe we're up to $35 billion. Well, now today it's probably closer to 36 or 37 billion after today because it's costing about $1 billion plus a day. Worse than that, if you look at it from the perspective of economics, we're in deep crap because it seems they really didn't plan adequately for this or think it through. And now you have the Strait of Hormuz shut down, only about 10 ships a day getting through. It's affecting the world oil supply, which is the lifeblood of the entire world economy. And it's not like it's just like one little input into the economy. It affects every aspect of the world economy. And yeah, okay, the United States doesn't get much of its oil from Iran. So who cares? Well, you need to care. And even if you're not getting much of your oil from the Middle East, it doesn't matter because all the oil goes into the world, like into a global market. It's a global marketplace. It's a commodity. It's traded on the world market. You take 20% or 15% out of the supply for oil, and it doesn't matter where you are in the world, your prices will be affected, even if you're in the United States, unless the government imposes some sort of price control mechanism in there, in which case it all becomes artificially controlled, and then you have to deal with the situation. I mean, maybe you're not going to export as much oil, then you don't have as much revenue coming into the country. The point is, it's all interconnected. And oil it's not like, you're producing remote controls for some video device. We're talking about oil, which has some sort of price input into every single thing that you buy, whether it's, a cup or I'll bring it up over here so you can see it. A cup, a pen, it doesn't matter what you buy. Oil is a cost input into that the product that you're purchasing, your food, everything. Because it's used to produce everything. You need energy to produce everything. You need energy to transport it. You need energy at every level with every product. That's why it's the lifeblood of the economy. You take 20% out, and then it becomes a compounding issue as well. And it's not just used for energy. It's used for plastics. It's used for fertilizers. It's used for all kinds of different, even pharmaceuticals, in various ways. We're in deep crap if they don't get this war resolved quickly. And we're already a month in. It's already gone longer than they said it was going to go. So you're getting this. And they still haven't even fully justified going to war. Now, don't take my word for it. I know a lot of people think, oh, Rick doesn't know what he's talking about. That's fine. Here, I watch a lot of different economists, and this is a program called Relearning Economics. This one came up today. I'll just run a little clip from it. Don't take my word for it. Listen to these guys. Here we go. Just listen.
Go, Gray, but everything else, it's the visible stuff that shows the age. The invisible stuff, God knows. There's something weird in our biology there.
Steve, maybe you just need to get out there a little more, and you can.
Oh, do I now? Yeah.
It's coming. Here we go.
I think I'll stick with just the salt. Thanks very much.
All right, so let's talk about the Iran war. In the pre-show, I was talking to Mike, and maybe Dan had joined in. We had the war start. I kind of stayed away from it. The 24-hour news cycle was covering it fine enough. But I think we're at the point now where we're seeing some real consequences. When I say real consequences, I'm not talking about market fluctuations in a barrel of oil. I'm thinking about things like Southeast Asia, the Philippines right now, which have declared an energy emergency. Real tangible supply shortages, specifically of oil. Fertilizer's another issue. We're kind of at that stage now, so it's worth discussing. So I'll start with you, Steve. We're a month in now. We're seeing some of the things I just highlighted. What are your thoughts if this ends tomorrow? Trump just packs his bags, walks away, and goes home. Or if this persists longer into the future, let's say 6 months, 1 year, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, God. Heaven, I mean, we can't afford a week of this bloody conflict, because what it's doing is cutting off absolutely critical inputs to production for the entire economy. And this is, again, where the junk economics, I was actually talking with Michael Hudson just a couple of minutes ago on the David Graeber Institute, and he came up with the term junk economics. The junk economics who we're all fighting against, the neoclassical way of thinking, I think is partly why this war is having such a dramatic effect on the global economy that most people weren't anticipating, because conventional economics teaches you that there's perfect competition. So there's millions of suppliers for every possible good. And therefore, if one part gets taken out, who cares? There's plenty of others to take their place. And equally, the theories that they teach leave out the actual input-output system that produces goods and services. If you go back 40 years, back when I was merely your age, Ty, the type of economics that dominated the mainstream then was what they call computable general equilibrium. Everything's equilibrium with neoclassical economists. But when they meant computable general, what they meant was they had an input-output table to show how industry X depended upon industries A to Z to produce its output. And therefore, that if there was some part of that industry, the inputs that fell, then there's going to be physical consequences for the other industries as well. And this is what was common back in the time of the last oil shock back in the 1970s. Computable general equilibrium was the form of neoclassical economics. Now, when these morons from the original called it real business cycle mob and now dynamic stochastic general equilibrium models, they all work within a model in which there's only a single good being produced. And they don't have any of the input-output dynamics at all. And they talk about equilibrium through time rather than equilibrium at a point in time. They're completely ignorant about the physical system that produces goods and services. So they're not even aware that if you cut off supply from some part of the world, particularly of energy, then you're going to have impacts upon goods and service production in the rest of the world. And this is, we're losing such critical inputs out of the war and the blockade of the Straits of Hormuz that this is possibly going to cause the biggest downturn since the Great Depression. Something at the order of 10% of GDP could disappear courtesy of losing the oil, losing the fertilizer, losing the sulfur dioxide and sulfuric acid, which is such an important input to so many production processes, losing helium, which means we lose both microchips and potato chips, because you need sulfur dioxide. There's so many things that are necessary. We lose agriculture. And if we lose agriculture, then it isn't just a case that GDP falls a bit, a case that large numbers of people on the planet will starve to death. And that's what we face in 2026.
Dan.
Yeah. Okay, so here, I'll put that link in the chat over on Rumble One. Okay, so if you want to watch that video, learn a little bit, there you go. There's the link. It's true. It's not to say that we're there yet, but it's not good. It's really, really bad, actually. It's really bad. Trump didn't plan for this. He got trapped. He's in a trap. He's looking for a way out. And everything he's saying, you can't trust. You can't trust what's coming from Iran either. But it's so bad on the American side right now because of him, because he's a chronic liar, that you're kind of like more inclined to believe what the Iranians are telling us. And that's not good, because they generally lie their asses off. And everything going on right now is basically, well, I hate to say it, but it's freaking fake. Do you remember this? Maybe you don't, maybe you do. Depends on how old you are. I take you back to 2003, news conference, White House, subject matter, Iraq.
People want to be that people want to be free, and given the chance to throw off a brutal dictator like Saddam Hussein, people will rejoice.
And may I ask if the administration expects the Allied forces to find evidence or remnants of chemical or biological weapons or a reconstituted nuclear program?
Well, there is no question that we have evidence and information that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction, biological and chemical particularly. This was the reason that the president felt so strongly that we needed to take military action to disarm Saddam Hussein, since he would not do it himself. As the military effort continues, I think you will see information develop for yourself firsthand. This is one of the reasons that there are so many reporters present with the military. In many ways, you will have these answers yourselves. You are there. You are on the ground. And you will find the answers, and they will speak volumes themselves.
So you expect the weapons will be found?
There's no question. We have said that Saddam Hussein possesses biological and chemical weapons, and all this will be made clear in the course of the operation for whatever duration it takes.
All right. I've taken consistently a more nuanced view and commented in a more nuanced way with regard to Iraq, because I remember the rhetoric. I've also said that Saddam Hussein was his own worst enemy, because he wouldn't let inspectors in when they really wanted to go in to conduct full inspections to show them that he didn't actually possess these weapons. He stood in opposition to it because he was always kind of ambiguous about it, because he was kind of lying too, because he wanted, to some degree, and he'd had chemical weapons before in the past, so he was leaving it ambiguous in order to use that as some sort of a mental or psychological deterrent to having the U.S. come in. I remember all of that, and I was like, why doesn't he just give them what they want? Like, let's just say, come on in, I don't have any, if you don't have any. But he really didn't do that, because he was trying to use propaganda, psychological warfare back against the U.S. and the coalition, while on the American side, they were like, oh, he's got him. And then they never found them. And now To this day, the United States suffers as a result because they didn't tell the truth. It's damaged permanently the reputation of the United States. And yet, even today, we're getting the playbook being used, the same strategies. They seem to be maybe lying to us again. But I take you back here to even in Britain, okay? So this is, I believe, a document from same basic time here where they're talking about Iraq continues on developing nuclear weapons in breach of its obligations under the Non-Proliferation Treaty and breach of UNSCR 687. Highlighted here, uranium has been sought from Africa that has no civil nuclear application in Iraq. Show me the aluminum tubes. Iraq possesses extended range versions of the Scud ballistic missile in breach of UNSCR 687, which are capable of reaching Cyprus, eastern Turkey, Tehran, and Israel. It is also developing longer range ballistic missiles. Blah, 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 blah. Oh my God! What are we going to do? Invade! Well, that's what they did in Venezuela. I told you they were manufacturing consent, bombing boats and saying this and saying that. And yeah, I mean, okay, you've got a drug problem down there in Venezuela. Sure, fair enough. Okay, whatever. But did it justify what they've done? Or was he just after the oil? He said he was after the oil. So I suggest we take him at his word. Here's Nicolas Maduro. Prior to his arrest, saying that Venezuela is a country that is not relevant in the area of drugs and in all matters related to drug trafficking, he says. So this lie is so crude and as fallacious as the fact that Iraq had no weapons of mass destruction. It is a lie, he said, and I am telling the U.S. public in this video, please don't get involved. One more lie for another fratricidal war now in South America and the Caribbean. South America, Latin America, and the Caribbean want peace, he said in this video. I'll run it. Here we go. Judge for yourself.
País no relevante
en materia
de narcotráfico
in terms of trafficking or in
y en todas las materias que tenga que ver.
Related matters. So this is a lie. This lie is
as
crude
esta mentira es tan burda
false as the claim that Iraq had
y tan falaz como que Irak tenía armas de
weapons of mass
destrucción masiva. Es mentira.
It's a lie, and I say
y se lo digo a la opinión pública estadounidense.
American public.
Podremos tener diferencias en formas de pensar en lo filosófico, en lo político, en lo económico. Pero por favor, no se dejen meter una mentira más para una guerra más fratricida ahora en Sudamérica y en el Caribe. Sudamérica, Latinoamérica y el Caribe quiere paz. Y ya lo acaba de decir la comunidad de estados latinoamericanos y caribeños.
Okay, so that's what he said. United States says they want to keep him in jail. He's on trial now on U.S. soil. It is what it is. Nobody's shedding a tear for the guy because everybody's convinced he's a drug dealer. Is he, isn't he? How would I know? Well, seriously, how would I know? I only know what I'm told. How would you know? How would any of us know? We're fed information from one side and the other, and then we're supposed to make up our minds. Who do you trust? Maybe neither, maybe both. Maybe both are telling you some truth. I just know this. J.D. Vance has me scratching my head after saying this about nuclear vests possibly being developed by Iran. Did you hear this clip just days ago?
When I say options, I think it's important the American people know options for what? And it's options to ensure that Iran never has a nuclear weapon. You talk about people who walk into a crowded supermarket and have a vest on. and they blow up the vest and a couple of people get killed, and that's a terrible tragedy. What happens when what's on the vest is not something that can kill a couple of people, but can kill many, many tens of thousands of people? That is the most important American national security objective that exists for any administration at any time, is you don't want the worst people in the world to have a nuclear weapon. That's why the president is doing this. That's why the president cares so much about this particular issue. When I say...
The moment I heard that, and I think I said it right on this program, I said, what the hell is he talking about? Joseph mentioned it last night. Well, I said, were you worried about the nuclear vest thing? Well, yeah, because, you know, you get a nuclear bomb and everybody be blown up. They don't exist. A nuclear bomb vest does not currently exist based on any information that is out there. I was like, I don't think they exist. I had to look it up because he said it. I was like, what the hell is he talking about? I didn't elaborate much on it the first night, but others have pushed back on it as well. Because about the smallest nuclear device that they say that they may have been able to develop weighs somewhere at a minimum at around 70 pounds. It's too bulky. It's way too big to wear in a vest. Maybe you can get it into some sort of a backpack, but even then, it's very heavy. And it's not even clear if the reports of those devices being constructed on that scale, on that size, if that's even true. Not even the United States has developed a suicide nuclear bomb vest. He's lying. Okay? And I don't know if you call that a lie. That is a lie. That's the justification now for that's why they're at war with Iran. They might someday develop a nuclear vest for a suicide bomber. And then Joseph said, well, they could come in with a dirty bomb. Possible. But that's been the case like for decades. That's much easier to do. But even with something like that, a dirty bomb in the minds of people, that gets everybody scared beyond belief. A dirty bomb, because you have images of a mushroom cloud in your head. A dirty bomb in some sort of a vest or small package like that delivered by a terrorist, even if it was on U.S. soil, would affect an area probably maybe, a few city blocks square. Not good, and massive cleanup. And yes, some people would, be exposed to radiation locally if a dirty bomb were to be detonated with conventional explosives, and then the radioactive contamination packed into the device would be expelled, and it would contaminate, an area that would then be carried around in the local area. But it wouldn't take out a whole city or anything like that. It certainly wouldn't be like a mushroom cloud like we saw, when they dropped the bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's not like that. Still horrific, still terrible, but no evidence that they're actually there to do it. But they're ginning up this stuff. And what happened to the credible threat, apparently, of some sort of a possible attack off the coast of California from Iranian subs or something? Do you remember that? That was only weeks ago, too. And that just kind of seemed to drop off the radar. They are screwing with us. Now, I can't sit here and say that, I'm anti-U.S. and of course I want Americans to be safe. That's the point. This is why I'm saying this. They are They have U.S. troops moving into position right now. They're getting ready, it looks like, to put U.S. boots on the ground in Iran to take Karg Island, probably, because Trump is saying tonight still that, he really wants the oil. It all comes down to him about the oil. He wants the oil. He wants Karg Island. Not only that, have you seen what he's saying about who should pay for it? Now he's saying tonight that he wants Arab states to pay for the war. That was what came up in the news conference today with Caroline Leavitt. But I'm not clear. Did Mexico actually ever pay for the wall? I don't think that actually happened, although he spun up some other story later saying that the tariffs, I think, is how he said that ultimately Mexico wound up paying for the wall. But tariffs are a tax on the American people, not on Mexico. It works the other way around. You don't believe me about the nuclear vests? Just go look it up. Show me a picture of one. Show me a picture of an actual nuclear vest. It hasn't been developed. So what the hell is that guy talking about? That guy is a heartbeat away from the presidency. They think we are stupid. At least he does. And I can't believe it's not getting more pushback in the mainstream media or in media in general. But of course, people are like, well, maybe, I guess it could happen. Theoretically, I suppose it could. And I'm going to come back to that. Like, theoretically, it could. And it probably will happen because of something that people are not talking nearly enough about. And they're also, as a result of what I will show you, or at least highlight for you tonight, why this whole thing with oil is short-sighted, and why even Mark Carney's book, which I have yet to fully review, I haven't reviewed it at all yet. I think I will talk about it in the nights ahead. This is my first foray into that subject matter, but the book not fully understood and being misrepresented largely, just like that video at Buckingham Palace, which wasn't really at Buckingham Palace, by the way. And those horses riding by and all, that's all staged, man. It's all fake. And people use it, repurpose it for their own, to achieve their own objectives, which is to screw with your head, to get clicks, to undermine the credibility of the government, to do whatever it is that they think that they need to do. It's a mind, excuse me, I'm sorry, Linda, moderator, don't ban me from my own channel. It's a mind fuck. J.D. Vance is fucking with your mind. And he's putting American lives at risk as a result, putting troops into harm's way for a frickin' lie. That's not why they're in the Middle East. That's not why they're at war with Iran. And then they want us to get behind that. Why is that video going viral? Well, they hate the crown anyway. These radicalized Americans on the outside edges of political discourse and ideology, the sovereign, whatever. Some people still hate the monarchy, hate the king, hate UK, hate Britain, hate. God, 1776. That was a long time ago. Let it go. They're your friends. They're your allies. Stop beating them up, Donald. And Canada too, please. Because it's actually pathetic. At this point, if you're really paying it, it's pathetic. It's what a suck that man baby is. But hey, don't worry. This time around, they've got it, okay? It's way better. Just listen to J.D. Vance. He's telling you the truth. He says this time will be different. because Donald Trump is smart and the other guys, other presidents, were all dumb.
I certainly empathize with Americans who are exhausted after 25 years of foreign entanglements in the Middle East. I understand the concern, but the difference is that back then we had dumb presidents, and now we have a president who actually knows how to accomplish America's national security objectives. So this is not going to be some long, drawn-out thing. We've got in, we've done the job of setting their nuclear program back. We're going to now work to permanently dismantle that nuclear program over the coming years, and that is what the president has set out to do. Simple principle. Iran can't have a nuclear weapon. That has animated American policy over the past 130 days. It's going to continue to be a driving force of our policy in the Middle East for the next 3.5 years.
Yeah. Well, that's actually a pro-Russian X account. Just to put that into context for you, okay? Where that's coming from. But he said it. They just ran the clip. Oh my God. And here, and here's another, okay, didn't even plan to run this one, but it just popped up. I'm going to run this, show you this. The caption, okay, first of all, this is from some site, I don't know what it is. It's probably a propaganda site. Concerned citizen. Prospective U.S. Vice President J.D. Vance suggested the U.K. could be the first Islamic state to have nuclear missile capability. Also the U.K. Do you think he was joking? And then they show a crowd of people. I don't even know what the context of this is exactly, but they show a video of a bridge full of people, which probably is AI generated. Maybe not. I don't know. I can't tell anymore. It's all marketing, man. It looks kind of real, but I don't know if it's real. And the thing is, they could put any text they want to that and tell you that is for anything. Any protest, any cause, any political movement, get you upset. This is a protest for, against pedophiles. Yeah! Or this is a protest for pedophiles. Boo! I don't know. In this case, it's about nuclear missile capability, the UK, and you got a bunch of people. I don't know, man. I know war is bad, and because that is insane. People killing people is, that's crazy. And this stuff is enough to drive you nuts. And it is driving some people nuts. I've been saying for a long time, since this channel came back online, that they're weaponizing mental illness because they use these techniques to manipulate most profoundly the most vulnerable. The people who are most vulnerable psychologically are the ones who are most affected by it, and I think targeted most, because then they get useful, I don't want to say idiots. They're not. They're victims, useful victims, into the streets, doing their dirty work. Rise up, overthrow your government. Go out to this protest. Get involved with that war. That's the warfare that they were hoping would achieve their objective in Iran. In the beginning, they told the people, they took over the television signals in Iran. And Benjamin Netanyahu and Donald Trump both broadcast to the Iranian people, after hijacking their airwaves, messages telling them to go out and overthrow their government. And Donald Trump's got your back. And then people did go into the streets and they protested, and Donald Trump didn't have their backs. And a lot of people got killed because they didn't really want to have their backs. He didn't want to have to go in at all. He was hoping the people would get it done for them. But of course, the people didn't have any weapons. So they got pushed back, and a lot of people got killed. Then he was in, and then, we'll bomb them then. So then they bombed them. And it's been escalating ever since. And now we're trapped. And the PSYOP continues on many, 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 many levels in the most sophisticated of ways. I said that video, which is going viral again, gee, I wonder why, of the guy coming down the bed sheet. You know why? Because Trump is pissed at Keir Starmer because he wouldn't join in on the war. Well, screw you, Keir Starmer. You're 1776 all over again. So it's attack the monarchy, attack Britain. Okay, man. By making that thing go viral again and having, and what is it coordinated to some degree, but a lot of it is just, they just give it a nudge. They start rolling this propaganda snowball down a hill. This is how it works. I know. I'm going to tell you why I know in a minute. They start rolling these propaganda snowballs down the hill, and they give them a little nudge with some funding and a few fake accounts, and then others pick up on it. And they run it because it gets them a lot of clicks, and then they make money with it online because it gets clicks, and they get monetized channels, massive numbers of views. And so they're rewarded for bad behavior. They're rewarded for manipulating us, rewarded for, excuse my language, fucking with your mind. Don't know what's real anymore. Mission accomplished. Now you're really vulnerable, aren't you? You don't know what to believe. Whoa, who do I believe? Well, I don't believe the mainstream media, so I must believe that guy because that guy's on the other side. So he must be telling me the truth. It doesn't work that way. People don't understand that this stuff is not black and white. It's not up or down. It's fucked up. You don't know what's real. And when you're left vulnerable like that, you absorb information and it screws with your head. And then they can get you to do kind of anything you want. Now, you add in some drug use, they make it easier for you to get drugs. And the next thing you know, you got people who are out there not thinking straight because their world is distorted in their heads to begin with. And that leaves them very susceptible to suggestion. Oh, but weed's okay. It does. Yeah, okay, man. But it's distortion. It's not reality. Okay, maybe it's I'm experiencing things on another level. You certainly are. And maybe it's giving you new creative ideas, but it's a distortion of reality. It's like taking a guitar string and bending it up. Right? But that's clean. But then you add distortion on the amp and it takes on a whole different sound, man. That's not the way the string actually sounds. That's an electronic manipulation of reality so that you get something totally different, baby. Drugs. Jimi Hendrix. Phase shifters. When I was learning how to play guitar when I was a kid, I had a phase shifter. What was that all about? That's like psychedelic, baby. Are you experienced? I'll tell you how experienced I was. You stomp on that pedal and it was like, that's not how a guitar sounds. Well, it does now. Hendrix used to take all these different effects pedals and chain them all together to get something totally freaking wild and different. You smoke your weed, watch that video, put that phone straight into your freaking skull, and they've got you. Because you ain't thinking straight, baby. You think it is. It's like, hey, man, I'm on a different plane. I don't do drugs. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I drink a little bit of this stuff, caffeine. And I'm not even sure I should be doing that because that distorts just a little bit too. I'll tell you this, I'm not listening to Alex Jones and I'm not listening to Tucker Carlson. I am not going to turn my brain blue with methylene blue. They ain't telling you the truth. They want you to put that shit in your head. Why? I don't think it's good, but you do you. I believe in freedom. You want to mail order some methylene blue? It literally turns your brain blue. There's a war on. You want your kids going? You want to go? because they might someday possibly develop a nuclear vest that might blow us all to kingdom come. They don't have one. Doesn't exist. Just telling you. This oil stuff, okay? I was going to get into this like another night. Quantum computing. They've got you all focused on the oil. That's because Donald Trump is still living in the 1950s and he thinks the big three automotive companies still dominate and he wants all the auto industry to come back to America. And he doesn't frickin' get it because he's kind of dumb. Smart but dumb and living in the past and really old. He doesn't understand quantum computing. The guy can't pronounce acetaminophen. And yet he's dictating health policy. Him and RFK Jr. Quantum computing, that's what it's all about. Quantum computing, artificial intelligence. Do you know how powerful quantum computers are? Millions of times more powerful than the computer that I have sitting on my desk right now that is bringing you this broadcast. Millions of times more powerful. Only certain countries have like functional quantum computers. China, United States, UK. There's a list, Canada being another one. The United States and China seem to be leading the charge on this stuff. Why is it important? Because something that people are not talking about at all. Something that I was very skeptical of about 3 years ago. Big news conference held. I remember, it's my Rolodex. Flip back in time, there was a news conference about fusion energy. This is the next step forward. Fusion energy goes like beyond nuclear power. They had a news conference that said we actually got more power out than we put in this experiment, proving that it's a viable energy source. I was like, I don't know, maybe not. But you know what? It seems to be real. They're still working on making it a viable energy source. And you know how they get there? Quantum computing. Because quantum computing, oh, baby, they are going to solve all kinds of problems. Develop new technologies on a scale and at a pace that is unprecedented. They're talking about the fourth industrial revolution. We are in it right now, man. But Donald Trump is still living in the past. He's still like trying to take over all the oil supply. All you people out in Alberta, you think that your future is tied to oil. You don't have much time. Even if you build your pipeline, 20, 30 years maybe, then the prices are going to start to plunge once they bring fusion energy online. And these quantum computers are functional now. They are being used by governments to develop AI, to develop new technologies, including fusion energy, as we sit here tonight. Once they get that to a level that they can start to roll it out, oil prices going to plunge. And probably a good darn thing if they do. But it's always a double-edged sword. Fusion energy will solve our energy problems. It'll be abundant. It will be cheap. It will replace oil. It will be much cleaner. I don't care if I'm skeptical of the climate change stuff myself. But pollution is pollution, and air pollution is air pollution, and smog is a real thing. You can see it. It's not even as bad as it was before because of catalytic converters and scrubbers and coal plants, and a lot of those have been shut down. But I have seen smog, and it is a real thing. Pollution, air pollution, is a problem. And that's because we do burn fossil fuels. Mother Nature has a way of cleaning that up over time, but it's still not good for human beings to be breathing that stuff in. And we need the oil in the long run as a species for other things anyway, like plastic to make pens, medical devices, to fabricate things. If we just burn it all before we and use it all up to just drive around in our cars. Well, maybe this isn't such a bad thing if we have other alternative energy supplies. And the technology on batteries has come a long way too. My view, and even electric vehicles, has been evolving over time. I was always very much opposed to them because they didn't have enough range. And I think back even like 10, 15 years ago, what year was it when they had like the Chevy Volt that came out, and I was test driving those things around, and they only had a range of like 60 kilometers, and they had a gasoline generator on them. And it was an ingenious little way to approach the range issue. Well, after the batteries were depleted, the electric generator, gasoline powered, would kick in, and the car would continue to be propelled by the electric motors, but the electricity was coming from a gasoline generator, which would then also put a charge back into the battery, which would then be used as well you don't need to know all the technology behind it. The point is, that's not the case anymore. Now you have these cars that can go 400, 500, 600 kilometers on a single charge and getting better all the time. And because of quantum computing, they are working on new technologies and refining technologies to make the battery technology that much better with a lot more capacity, even beyond that. And because technology is being refined at such an accelerated pace right now, we're going to get to places much more quickly than we've ever seen before, faster than anybody realizes. Right now, tonight, they are getting ready to launch a rocket, the Artemis 2, back up into space, and they're going back to the moon. And that's hardly even getting any attention because it's almost like passé, and there were all these conspiracy theories. We never went to the moon. Yeah, we did. No, it's true. We did go, and they're going back this coming month in April. They're not going to land, as far as I know, this time around. They're going to, I think, just orbit the moon and then come back. And then the next one, Artemis 3, I believe, they're going to actually land people on the moon again, human beings. Not talking much about that because we're talking about a fake video of some naked adult that people are trying to tell you as a child because they want you to believe that King Charles or somebody at Buckingham Palace is a pedophile and was abusing a young boy who was trying to escape down a bed sheet or something, which was like a leap beyond what the original intent of the video was, which was to promote this television series, which starred, I believe, Liz Hurley at the time, and I never saw it, but yeah, Liz Hurley was in it, and what else can I tell you? But the original intent was not to say that it was a child. It was supposed to be, I think, like somebody having an affair or something, an adult male. But in the caption, they say child, so then people freak out because they put that suggestive thing into your head, and you reach the conclusion it's a child. It's a child. I saw a child. Did you see it? No, you saw an adult male, but somebody told you it's a child, so you believe it's a child. That's not to say that Prince Andrew, former Prince Andrew, shouldn't be held accountable for the crap that he did, because that's true. And for a long time, those guys who were guilty of those kinds of things, and the activities on Epstein Island and blah, 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 shielded by the confusion surrounding a lot of these viral videos. Oh, it's just a conspiracy theory. That's not true. That's also why they run a lot of that stuff. Oh, it's like it's not true. Look, it's fake. All of that. So it's all fake. No, not all of it is fake. Some of it is true. And now you have to cut through. But then it screws with people's heads. And people get manic about stuff. They take it all too seriously. Or not seriously enough, or they can't, because you can't tell anymore. So it's enough to drive you loopy. I know. I'm here too much. I absorb too much of myself. It affects your mental health. It's a very hard thing to not get sucked down into that rabbit hole, down into the deep, dark abyss where you finally find some monstrous rabbit with great big giant fangs and devil ears and red laser eyes, and he's going to rip your face off. Don't go there. It's not pretty. Just saying, man. Save yourself. Stay grounded. My advice is, after this broadcast, you need to watch this one to the end. And then shut it off. Go outside. Walk around. Just breathe in some fresh air. That's your homework after tonight's broadcast, okay? Shut it all off for just 5 or 10 minutes and just go outside, breathe in some fresh air. If you can get to a tree, just touch a tree. It'll help you. I do it several times a day. Me and Cosmo. Here it is. Here's the headline. Donald Trump, for crying out loud. Well, I started this war, and it's costing us over $1 billion a day, but it's not our fault. It's all your fault. You should pay for it. Trump interested in calling on Arab states to help pay for an Iran war, White House says. I'm not even going to bother running her clip. Self-explanatory. Hey, man, kind of like, whatever works. Whatever works. Guerrilla marketing. That's what that viral video is still being used. I know a little bit about guerrilla marketing. Do you know what guerrilla marketing is? It's creative stuff. It's a creative way to sell something in unusual, unorthodox ways, new ways, ways that people least expect. It takes people by surprise. It sneaks up behind them and they don't even know what smacked them in the back of the head in a way that transfers the information through some sort of forceful osmosis straight into the brain cells. Guerrilla marketing. I know something of this because after I left CTV and in the between time when I was after leaving broadcast like news, like mainstream media news, and became an independent producer, as a result of that, I had to do a lot of marketing myself through my own marketing company. And I got involved in a couple of guerrilla marketing campaigns. I was always very careful. I didn't want to do anything unethical, but guerrilla marketing campaigns, for instance, one way that this kind of thing has been done for political parties, for brands, is, odd things. When you don't have a lot of money, you might go into a major city, for instance, with a power washer, and you'd have a template, like a stencil. And with your power washer, you lay the stencil down, and you could have a logo for a brand, say, and or a message in a stencil, but you don't paint through the stencil or paint something. You could put it down on a sidewalk, and then you take the power washer and you power wash over the stencil, and the power washer washes away the dirt where the openings for the letters or the logo on the stencil are, and you take the stencil away, and now you have a clean section with the logo on the sidewalk. So when people are walking along, they see this advertisement. It's not vandalism, you're cleaning the sidewalk, but you're leaving your logo there. You're just not cleaning all the sidewalk. That's an example of something kind of unusual. Flash mobs, that's another kind of guerrilla marketing. Unusual videos. What did we see? Let me just see if I can find this again. In the past week. What else did I say was a giant mind? Excuse me, sorry for my language, children. Mind fuck. What did I say? Let's see if we can find it. This one right here. This stuff. From the White House itself. Nobody's more interested in effing with your brain than the government, baby. And nobody's better at it than the United States government, and certainly Donald Trump. Nobody. Backward masking. They reversed the audio, mixed it. I think that what they were saying backwards was big announcement tomorrow, and it made everybody look, made me look, made you look. We talked about it. We're still talking about it, aren't we? I guess a pretty successful ad campaign. How much did they spend on that? Probably zero. Millions of views, plus all kinds of media coverage. Like, what the hell are you doing? What are they doing at the White House? A series of videos like that, that's guerrilla marketing. It's also propaganda. Here, let me share this with you. Here's a little video explaining what guerrilla marketing is in more detail. I'll share it with you. Here we go.
Defining guerrilla marketing. Guerrilla marketing refers to an unconventional strategy that relies on low-cost, creative, and eccentric tactics to promote goods or services. In this marketing approach, the seller targets specific consumers in unexpected ways. The aim is to generate a buzz and create a viral effect. Methods and examples. If you use surprising or unexpected marketing methods to promote whatever it is you are selling, you are involved in guerrilla marketing. Examples include using graffiti, treasure hunts, street stunts, public art installations, and other imaginative and
Think
unusual
of the big Donald Trump
techniques.
man baby balloon at the No Kings protest, right?
Harnessing word of mouth. Guerrilla marketing is characterized by its creativity, ingenuity, and ability to generate interest and excitement.
Everybody's talking
Word-of-mouth
about
marketing often includes guerrilla marketing techniques. That is, the brand becomes well known because people tell others what they have seen or experienced. The business advantage. Shopify.com has the following definition of the term: guerrilla marketing refers to low-cost, unconventional marketing tactics that generate high profits. Using guerrilla marketing tactics, small businesses can leverage the resources they have, mainly time and creativity, to gain an advantage over their much larger, better-funded competitors. Etymology of guerrillas. Guerrilla, in Spanish, means little war or small groups of army soldiers who carry out surprise attacks against the enemy. Guerrilla was first used in the English language around 1810 to describe rebels who fought against established or superior military forces.
Information
Beyond
warfare.
conventional advertising, if you practice guerrilla marketing, you do not just rely on print, TV, radio, and internet advertising. You might use street art, flash mobs, or viral videos to get your message across. A flash mob is a group of people who suddenly appear in public, perform something unusual and entertaining, and then rapidly disperse. Captivating the target audience. Like all marketing approaches, in guerrilla marketing, the aim is to target specific consumers. But in this case, it is done in unusual ways. You may also generate a sense of excitement and enthusiasm around your product or service.
Targeting.
Creating lasting impressions. People who use guerrilla marketing tactics aim to create engaging and memorable experiences that leave a lasting impression for prospects. In the world of business, prospects are consumers who you believe could well turn into paying customers. Success stories. Red Bull.
Voters.
Red Bull, the energy drink company, is a leader in guerrilla marketing strategies.
Or rebels.
In its Red Bull Stratus campaign, Felix Baumgartner, an Austrian skydiver, jumped from a balloon at the edge of space and broke the sound barrier. Viral impact and brand image. Baumgartner's amazing achievement generated a huge amount of online chatter, especially on the social media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, etc. Red Bull became known as the fun brand that took risks and pushed boundaries. Key considerations for success. To be successful in guerrilla marketing, you really need to know what you are doing. If it is a street performance, make sure it is rehearsed to perfection. It is also crucial to respect people's rights and privacy.
Hey, my English not so good.
Yeah, except not everybody respects the rules, right? And they often cross the line today, especially when it comes to politics, because it's no holds barred. It's a blood sport. It's for all the marbles. It's to control, especially in the case of the United States, the most powerful military in the world, a nuclear arsenal. You think that they're going to follow all the rules? Do you think they really care about me, you, us? No. They want control. They will do, some of these people do anything to get it. And they'll use you and me, all of us, to get what they want. They're quite willing to drive you crazy. With videos, social media, conditioning. Comes in many forms. No king's protests, right? How do you know what's real? Who's telling the truth? Is this accurate? Is this fake? Is this fake news? Is this video real? Here's a MAGA, apparently a pro-MAGA, described as an antagonist cosplaying, they say, as an ICE agent. Basically, this guy here, what the story is, just so I can drill right down into reality for you. This guy that you're about to see dresses up like an ICE agent, apparently does it regularly, goes out to protests and gets in people's faces. Now, he doesn't himself shoot videos, but other people do. And as he confronts protesters on the other side of the political aisle, it gets confrontational. So what you're about to see, and I warn you, this is violent. As he's pretending to be an ICE agent, which apparently in the United States, at this moment, as of today, still not illegal to do this, to impersonate an ICE officer. So he shows up looking like an ICE officer and agitates these people. A lot of people out here in Louisiana. This is Mikey Key, Hawaii, and apparently a lot of people know who this guy is because he does it quite often. So he's outed, and this happens. Beating the crap out of him, picked him in the head. Okay, that's enough. Why am I showing you that? Because that's also a form of manipulation. He's out there doing all of this stuff on purpose, running into a protest in order to provoke. We're seeing that today also with other media, aren't we? Yes, we are. Took me a while to figure out that people are doing that because I would never have ever done that. I've never done that. I wouldn't consider doing that. And it's appalling to me when I see people who call themselves journalists doing it for political purposes, to generate clicks and to get you to donate. And to, in some cases, sell out our country. To go viral online. What did I show you over the last few days? Clavicular. Out there putting, pumping lead into a dead gator. To go viral. Holding the gun between his legs. Gets himself kicked off. Maybe facing up to 5 years, and the slammer won't happen. And as much as people saying he's done now, no, he's not. It's going to go viral Oh, that all went viral. I talked about it. I'm talking about it now. Works, doesn't it? And he's going to come back bigger than ever. It's all freaking insane. There's nothing sane about this stuff. Oh, here's another one. Oh, we're a Christian nation, right? Are we? I don't know. I don't know how Christian this is. Now, that's not to say not everybody's responsible for this stuff, but I guess we're all responsible for it in some way, aren't we? Because this is like on X. Gee, I wonder why Elon Musk calls Twitter X now. I guess, is it triple X? Well, there's triple X stuff on it, but he just calls it X. Here's a porn star. I don't know adult content star faces jail shock. 23-year-old French content creator Call Me Slow is facing up to 10 years in prison due to a video, pornographic, she filmed in Bali. Pornography laws in Indonesia are strict, even if you're a tourist. The rules don't change. That's the caption on this news site. I'm going to turn the audio down in case there's any kind of a copyright issue. Oh, there she is. Okay. This is France, Bali, but of course, viral in America. Okay, enough. Come on. Come on down. There we go. Are you distracted? Maybe just a little. Okay. I don't know. Looks maxing, manosphere, clavicular, Andrew Tate. Those guys are, no, that's not real either. That's all entertainment. It's all entertainment. Modern form of it. And, I've had some people on here saying that that's an aberration. That's a word that has come up a few times in the past few weeks. Aberration. And yet the conservative side in particular, people looking for real men again, seem to be embracing this whole manosphere thing. But look where this whole manosphere looks maxing mania has taken us. On X, online. I wasn't even aware of this until now, until like a minute ago.
Your philosophy when it comes to plastic surgery, what is it?
Well, my philosophy is...
He's talking to a doctor, some sort of a plastic surgeon, about looks maxing. And this guy has his face all maxed out, obviously. Is this healthy? Is this our society today? Is this what this is what they're pumping into our young people's minds, into our minds too, but specifically targeting young men and women. But in the case of this guy and his face, it's aimed at young men.
Kind of enhancing natural beauty. So I don't want anyone to think that this is my work here, but it's basically...
My mom said the same thing. How do you...
Was he born like that? I don't know. Says he was born like that? I don't know.
Differentiating the world.
But clavicular, people are saying, what you do is you take a hammer and you tap the bones in your face and you do all these other crazy things in order to get a look like this or whatever.
Of looks maxing and plastic surgery.
The reasons,
looks
so the
maxing.
Motivations are often different. And that is important for me as a doctor to distinguish, because I don't want to treat somebody that doesn't have the right mindset for a procedure. And I certainly don't want to change something for the wrong reason.
What are a lot of men coming in and asking for?
So they're coming in a lot of times for improvement in their jawline.
Are there any looks maxing myths that you want to dispel?
Okay, so this really, I cannot take this hammer business anymore.
You mean bone smashing, Dr.
Yes.
J? There's nothing to be said about.
There is nothing to be
right.
said about.
Right.
Looks maxing, bone smashing. I wonder how many young men have actually taken a hammer to their face. Millions of people out there watching these videos. Some people will take it seriously. I wonder if anybody has actually hurt themselves smashing the bones in their face. I bet you somebody has. Oil. The United States is running out of oil. You know, the oil industry in the United States was on the decline until fracking. You know what fracking is, right? That's where you pump water down into the earth in order, because oil and water don't mix, and then you put it under pressure and it forces more oil up. So old wells, which were running out, it was becoming no longer viable or economically feasible to extract the oil because they were running low. You pump the water down in there. You frack. So you use a lot of water resources. The United States gave their oil industry a new lease on life. That's why, with Donald Trump today, the U.S. has again become the biggest oil producer, apparently, in the world. But they know it's running out. Climate change or no climate change. All the information that they have suggests that this will be, it's going to come to an end. Quantum computing, AI, fusion energy. That's where the real race is. And you start merging these technologies, and we'll be talking about it more in the nights ahead. Fusion energy, AI, quantum computing. The concepts, the technology employed in quantum computers starts to blur the lines between what's real and what isn't real. What is consciousness? In ways that are profound. And yet through all of it, I know that they're wrong. Not because I'm smarter, but just because I see the hubris, the conceit. It's one of humanity's flaws. Not going to dig into it too much tonight, only to say that we are all human. We are all individuals. And our rights as individuals need to be protected. The reason I sit here tonight, sharing all of this with you, to hopefully just make everyone a little bit more media literate so that you can understand and see how we are being manipulated, so that you can protect yourself, recognize it when it's happening, realize that it's going on all the time, that so much of everything going on, that it is freaking fake, is because we are all individuals and our rights need to be protected. Democracy, freedom, these ideas, they're not normal. They're a gift. They need to be protected. We need to protect those things so that our rights can be protected. Do not let them disarm you. Do not let them manipulate you. Do not let them distort your reality. That will only pull you down into that deep, dark abyss. And there be monsters down there who want to take your freedom away. True freedom lies in reality. And all they want to do is sell us everything that is freaking fake. Don't let them. Don't let them. Okay? We'll get there together. We'll save it. It's under attack, but we will save it. More tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern, on the flip side. Love you guys.
Charlie's alive. Elvis flips burgers on the Lower East Side. 10 Trumps mask up on your phone. Shilling mean coins by remote drone. Graphene needles in your veins. Chemtrail sugar fries your brain. George Floyd's American hologram pie. Don't trust your lying eyes. It's all fake. It's all fake. The moon is a hoax. Give your head a shake. It's all fake. It's all fake. Your mama's a lizard. Your daddy's a snake. Bigfoot codes, the Mossad plan. Flat Earth truckers fighting the man. Dinosaurs guard an empty fed vault. Truth is dead and it's the media's fault. Conspiracies are real, let it sink in. Time travel, JFK is president again. 9/11's a VR game. The elite cut deals in the devil's name. It's all fake. It's all fake. From the jab to the pills that you take. It's all fake. It's all fake. The Pope's in a bunker with Q as his mate. Your phone's a snitch. Your dog's AI. The king eats penguins in conspiracy pie. JFK, Jr., Cobain, and Tupac. They ain't dead. They're all coming back. It's all fake. It's all fake. Every headline, every handshake. It's all fake. It's all fake. FBI, CIA, KGB, ABC. Are you awake? Don't believe your lying eyes. It's all fake. It's all fake.
This has been a Maverick Multimedia production.